Despite their record, the Philadelphia Eagles have looked really, really bad as of late. They lost 4 of their last 5. The offense hasn't been too good. The defense has looked even worse. I looked at the film to find out why they're so bad defensively. And I have a couple of answers for you guys. Let me warn you right now, the film is not a fun watch. It's a little bit painful to watch, especially if you're a Shaquille Leonard fan like me. It really, really sucks to watch this Eagles team play football right now. This Cardinals game exposed them. And it exposed them badly. Again, I'm talking from a defensive perspective. And there's a lot of people that are taking the blame for it. I think there's blame to go around, really. From the coaching, the players, really every aspect of the defense just isn't looking good. I looked at the film, and I want you to share the same pain that I had to experience by watching the defensive Eagles film from their loss against the Arizona Cardinals. This is the Cardinals' first offensive play of the game, and I really cannot tell you what these 3 are supposed to be doing. I think that this player is supposed to have the flats, and that is exactly what the Cardinals are going to exploit here. They're going to run a pretty simple cover 3. They're going to have 31 drop into this flat. They're going to have Bradbury drop back here. They're going to have Blankenship stay in the middle third, and they're going to have this guy drop back. These 2 are supposed to have the middle of the field, but watch how undisciplined this linebacker core is. Despite there being a veteran here in Shaq Leonard, there is no reason that they should be getting fooled by play action this hard, right? Just watch how this plays out. They do their motion, whatever, you're going to see a little bit of shifting on the defense, and boom. Why is Shaq Leonard, a veteran player who has been in the league for a decently long time, has been very good throughout his career, not so much this year? Why is he stepping so far up? Why is he stepping so far up? You see the problem? It looks like all 3 of these guys are going to be blitzing. They're supposed to have pass coverage responsibility here, and the Cardinals are just going to completely exploit that. Just watch. I mean, wide open. Everyone here. They only have 1 defender on this side of the field. Shaq Leonard is trying to catch up. Backside pursuit. They're all trying to pursue backside, but the fact is someone should have had the flats here. Someone should have. But for whatever reason, the linebackers were dead set on this being a run play. They completely fell for the play action, and the Cardinals open up their first offensive drive with a big play. The Cardinals ran this counter play pretty much all game long, and it worked almost every time. They ran different variations of it, but this is a pretty simple one. They're going to have these 2 block down. The center is going to also block down. Humphreys is going to help with 93. Very simple. Then the left guard, the backside guard, is going to pull across the formation, wipe out the edge, and then McBride is going to go behind his block and go up to the linebacker. They're going to try and hit it right here, right? James Conner should have an open seam in this area, and he should be able to, go all over the place, assuming that the linebacker doesn't blow this up, assuming that 72 or pretty much any D lineman doesn't get absolutely moved, right? This play is going to hit big, though, if the D linemen are getting moved. If the D linemen are losing off the line of scrimmage and then just getting pushed around. Along with that, the play's going to hit even bigger if the linebacker takes a poor angle. Whoever is responsible for this gap has to hold their ground, and they have to really make sure they get in there and cause havoc. That's something I noticed throughout this game. The Eagles' D-line wasn't causing any problems for the Cardinals. So, just based off context clues, imagine what's going to happen here. The play starts up, and, well, look at that. Everyone is getting pushed this way. Everyone. And what makes it worse, I'm not overly sure who's responsible for this area of the field. It looked like number 73 was slanting from his position to kind of that A gap right over here. Now, is that him doing the wrong thing? I don't really know. But if that is a designed part of this play on the defense, then either Nicholas Morrow, number 41, has to make sure he gets to this spot, goes behind number 63's block, or Josh Sweat, number 94, has to make sure he holds his ground right here, and Nicholas Morrow would be the contained player. Once again, I'm not exactly sure what was supposed to happen, but I'm very confident this isn't what is supposed to happen, because it looks like both Josh Sweat and Nicholas Morrow were trying to get contained there, and that puts them in a position where Kevin Byard needs to make this tackle. He was so far out of the play, he wasn't in the box, that this tackle becomes really difficult. Morrow is trying to correct himself and get back inside, and this just makes the situation even worse, because now James Conner is going to bounce behind Trey McBride's block, and then just look at this beautiful job by McBride if I keep the play going. Not only does he prevent Morrow from making the play, but then he absolutely clocks Kevin Byard here. Just watch this block by him. Boom. On the ground he goes. Look at Kevin Byard now. This was just terrible by the D-line and the linebackers, specifically Nick Morrow. He was the only inside linebacker on this play. And, well, James Conner got a huge gain off of it. So right here, the Cardinals are going to run duo, meaning that every lineman has the same rules here. They're either going to be blocking back, it's going to be duo to the left. They're either going to be blocking back, or if there's no one in their backside gap. So, for example, what's going on with 85 here? There's no one to his right. He's going to help block to the left. 65, there's no one to his right, so he's going to block the player to his left. Now, right here, he has a player to his right. 76, Will Hernandez, doesn't have a player to his right, so instead he is going to block to the left. And then number 70 is going to block Hassan Reddick here. And they are going to try and run the ball right here. It's very likely that 65 climbs up to the linebacker. It's very likely that the center climbs up to Nicholas Morrow. And the Cardinals are going to try and run it right here, and just most of the time you won't get a big gain off of this, but if you do get a big gain, it will probably be in this area right here. But it is important to remember the running back has the freedom to bounce this play out. So let's say that you're a player that's supposed to have contain, for example, Brandon Graham. You're supposed to keep your contain, which should be easy considering that you have two tight ends trying to block you. You don't have to try and make the play. You just have to try and contain. Make sure that it doesn't get bounced too far outside, because you can't see it right now, but the Eagles only have one defender, Eli Ricks, on this side of the field. So you don't want there to be a one-on-one between Michael Carter and Eli Ricks. That won't end well. Now, why am I getting so specific with Brandon Graham? Well, it's because guess what ends up happening here? Brandon Graham, for whatever reason, tries to make a play. Instead of trying to attack number 84's backside shoulder, he tries to make the play. And because of that, Michael Carter is going to be patient. He's going to watch the play develop. And, oh, what's this? Wide open rushing lane. And now look at what's going to happen. You have the one-on-one between Michael Carter and Eli Ricks. Eli Ricks, you're a rookie. I liked your film a decent amount out of college. I think at some point he's going to be a nice role player for them. But, man. Listen, don't make the tackle, fine. But this is downright embarrassing. This run goes for an extra 10 yards. Because Carter just embarrassed Eli Ricks there. And keep in mind, that play could have been even bigger if Michael Carter somehow made another huge juke move on Blankenship right there. But while Eli Ricks is going to get a lot of the crap for that play and how it went down, it's all on 55. Brandon Graham has to be better. Another veteran player not playing smart. You're expected to be smarter than this. You're not expected to give up contain like that. The Cardinals are going to run power here, which is very similar to counter, but instead of the backside guard pulling to the edge defender, the backside guard is instead going to pull up to the playside linebacker, who is Nicholas Morrow, and Morrow does do a good job getting a stalemate on the line of scrimmage, and that is something that you want to see, right? So this is a good job. The only problem is the cutback lane. It's right there. Now, it does help that 72 is holding. This is definitely gonna be holding here. You'll see as the play resumes, this is holding, but still, Shaq Leonard, you have to do a better job being in the right spot, or at least getting in good position to make the play on the cutback. I know being an inside linebacker is hard. You're trying to make the play where the play is supposed to hit, but Morrow's doing that. You have to at least be in the right position to redirect and make a tackle on the cutback, okay? It looks really favorable with where this defensive tackle is, but the hold ends up happening, and, well, Shaq Leonard isn't in position at all to make the tackle. He's getting completely washed out of the play, and that's the problem right here. Now, it's a really tough situation for the Eagles because they have two on, I would say this is a 2-on-2 because the receiver is blocking Sidney Brown. Him making a play here becomes way more difficult because the receiver is blocking. That being said, I do want to see him take more of like a flat angle here and allow this play to get bounced kind of more inside, or at least prevent it from going further outside, because I like Blankenship in an open field tackling situation more when he only has to worry about what's going to happen in between these hashes, much more than if Sidney Brown has to worry about from this hash to the sideline, right? That is much more difficult on a defensive player. So your job here, if you're Sidney Brown, even though you're being blocked, you have to keep it from getting outside of you, right? He doesn't do a great job at that, and it leads to Reed Blankenship needing to redirect, and he completely fails to do that. Listen, as an NFL player, you have to be better than that. I'm not saying you even have to make the tackle, okay? But you can't completely fail to redirect to the point where you just end up falling on the ground. You are literally tripping over yourself on an NFL football field. It's a difficult league, I know, but when you're making mistakes like that, it's really difficult to be as successful as a team like the Eagles wants to be. And I do want to give Sidney Brown credit for making the tackle, but that's a really bad play. That is. Yes, there was a holding that led to the play being much bigger. There definitely was a holding that made the play bigger. But still, Shaq Leonard has to do a better job guarding the cutback. Reed Blankenship has to do a better job redirecting. Sidney Brown has to do a better job forcing Michael Carter to take the ball back inside. It just wasn't a great effort by this Eagles defense. So this play right here, very simple cover one, right? Man to man, man to man, man to man. He has this inside area of the field. He has man to man on the running back. Man to man here. He has the middle third. And it really is just an awful job by this group it's one thing to, lack the ability to defend the run correctly mentally, right? It's one thing to make these mental errors, take the wrong angle, lose contain, that's whatever. It's a big deal, but fine. Do you at least have the athletic talent? And this was something that happened all game, but this was the time where it hurt them the most. The Eagles' corners just aren't a physically great group. They've been, play after play after play, a step behind the Cardinals receivers. And this play becomes so much worse because not only does Avonte Maddox get beat by Greg Dortch, he can't make the tackle. This is a crucial drive for the Cardinals at the end of the game. This is a situation where the Cardinals have to score, and you can't even make that tackle. Sure, let up the catch, that's one thing. Do you make the tackle? No. How about when he runs further downfield? Nope. Reed Blankenship, who, by the way, plays really high up the field on every play, it feels like. And he's a safety, I get it. But if you're gonna be that free safety that just plays over the top and really far over the top on every given play, you gotta be a good safety blanket between the offense and where they start off with the ball and the end zone. And he really isn't. I mean, he misses a lot of tackles. He's not great at redirecting. We showed that earlier. You would think that Greg Dortch is CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown on this play because he broke 2 tackles, breaks a third, and then for whatever reason he tries to cut that back. If he keeps going this way, and then maybe he breaks 57's tackle again, maybe he doesn't, but I like his odds a lot more of getting into the end zone there. But the point is, Greg Dortch broke 3 tackles and made this into nearly a 40-yard gain. And it's not Greg Dortch being a spectacular player, although I do think he can make some great plays. Philly needs to make these tackles. Philly needs to do a better job covering these guys up. Kyler's a great quarterback, and it was a great game by the Cardinals. I'm not going to deny it. But the Eagles, they have to be better. They have to be better on the defensive side of the ball. And same with the offense. But defensively, they are really, really weak at the moment. So what do we take away from this? This is an Eagles team that is going to be making the playoffs. And their defense is suspect, to say the least. The offense isn't playing too great either, but that defense is the very clear issue there. Why is that? It's because their talent isn't overly good. I didn't show every snap from that game, but let me tell you right now, specifically passing the ball, the Cardinals were able to pass all over them, and it's because the corners were getting beat repeatedly. Not really burnt, but they were getting beat. And whatever team wants to could just keep throwing 5-yard, 6-yard, 7-yard passes all game long, and it will work. All right, but if another team wants to run the ball more, that'll also work really well because this defensive front is very undisciplined. What are the Eagles good at defensively is my question to you, because I'm struggling to find something right now that I like from them. I mean, their pass rush is fine, but defending the run, their D-line hasn't been great. Their second-level linebackers have been awful. They might have the worst linebacker core in the league. Their secondary also looks really bad, but more than anything, I blame the coaching staff. They might not have the best talent on that defense, despite what some may think. But even with the talent that they have, they should be better. The reason that they're not better, though, is because the position coaches aren't doing a good job disciplining these players. Because you watch the film, I mean, now you saw a little bit of it. This is a very undisciplined defense. Very undisciplined. They're not going to win in the playoffs like this. They can't. I'm expecting them to lose in round 1. In fact, I don't even know if they beat the Giants this week. But that's just my take. I hope you all enjoyed. If you want more of my content, feel free to subscribe to the page. If you want to look at my other platforms, I also have a TikTok, also No Huddle NFL. I have a Twitter page, and then I also have a podcast, the Goal Line Podcast. All that stuff is in my link tree, link in my bio. Feel free to subscribe, like, I would highly appreciate it. Thanks again